We're going to continue with section 1.9. So we've done frequency distribution, grouped frequency distribution, and histogram. And the last type of data representation model we're going to talk about is stem and leaf diagrams. So with a stem and leaf diagram, we create two columns with a cross, and the stems here are on the left, and all of the leaves are on the right, and leaves can be repeated. And it's an easy way to represent large amounts of data, where this would be the starting value and this would be the ending value. In the stem and leaves model, all the leaves are between the numbers of 0 and 9. Okay, so you would never have a number in the teens or in the 20s over here in the leaves. And so before we get into this actual application, I can look here and see that this has a stem of 8 and a leaf of 9. That represents the value 89. Here's a stem of 11 and a leaf of 8. So that represents a value of 118. I'm sorry, 118. And so here I have a stem of 1 and a leaf of 0. That would be a 10. Here's another 0. That would be a second occurrence of 10. Here's another 0. That would be a third occurrence of 10. That's how stem and leaf plots are created. So this one happens to represent the number of daily newspapers pardon me, in each of the 50 states, plus the District of Columbia in November of 2016. So this is the number of newspapers. Each state and DC is represented somewhere in here. And here we have a key 4/5 means 45 newspapers in that state. So how many states had 656 newspapers? That would be a stem of 65 and a leaf of 6. And as we look at our chart, none of them have a stem of 65 and a leaf of 6. So we would say none. No states had that many newspapers. But then the question is, how many of them had 25 newspapers? So 25 newspapers, let me try to get it all on the screen here. 25 newspapers is going to have a stem of 2 and a leaf of 5. There's 1, 2, 3. So there would actually be 3 states. We don't know which ones, but we know that there are 3 states. Sorry, up here, 3 states with 25 newspapers. So this next question, sorry, I wrote the answer in the wrong place there. Number 9, how many states had less than 30 newspapers? Then how many had more than 100? Less than 30. So here would be 30. So here would be the single digits, here would be the tens, or the teens, if you will, and here would be the 20s. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 28 states have less than 30 newspapers. Now, how many have more than 100 newspapers? Well, 100, this would have a stem of 10 and a leaf of 0 or greater, or a stem greater than 10. So we look here, there's no in the 100s, but here I have the 1 teens. And then we go right to the 200s and the 220s and the 230s. So how many have more than 100? Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. More than 100 papers? 4 states have more than 100 papers. And then what is the largest number of newspapers in any state? What is the smallest? The largest is going to have the largest stem and the largest leaf. So we would say the largest number of newspapers is 230. The smallest number of newspapers is going to have the smallest stem and the smallest leaf. So the smallest number of newspapers would be 3. Stem of 23, leaf of 0. Stem of 0, leaf of 3. So that's reading a stem and leaf diagram. How about creating one? So here they're asking us to build a stem and leaf plot to organize all of this data. What does this data represent? This data is the average weekly individually paid print circulation in thousands. Weekday circulation in thousands. So this would be 164,000 subscriptions to the Arizona Republic. This would be 94,000 print in circulation, 94,000 are advertised in September of 2015. So it says here, for example, the first row shows that the Arizona Republic sold 164,000 copies of their print edition on any average weekday. So we have to come up with what the stems and the leaves are. So here, I'm just going to write right on the chart so we can see what we're looking at. Here we have a stem of 16 and a leaf of 4. Here we have a stem of 9 and a leaf of 2. A stem of 14 and a leaf of 0. So we're going to go through all of our newspapers writing what's their stem and what's their leaf. What's their stem and what's their leaf. Remember, the leaves are always a single digit between 0 and 9. So here we have a 14 and a 0, a 15 and a 6, a 9 and a 4, 16 and a 9, a 9, a 0, a 32, and an 8, 18 and 4, 22 and 8, 24 and 5, 52 and 8, 11 and 4, 21 and 7, 11 and 0, 13 and 8, 11 and 7, 14 and 1, 29 and 9, 33 and 0. But the thing about the stem and leaf chart is that we want to have our stems in increasing order, and actually we want our leaves in increasing order also. So I'm not ready to go right into my final stem and leaf chart here. So let's see, we have a 16 and a 4. I'm just going to put a little tick there saying that I used it. I want to look to see if there are any other stems that are 16. There's a 16 and a 9. I'm going to leave a little room in case there's another leaf between 4 and 9. And put a little tick saying that that date is accounted for. All right, I don't see any other stems of 16, so my 16s are done. So let's go here, let's go to our 9s. Here I have a stem of 9 and a leaf of 2. And I'm going to look for my other stems of 9. Here's a stem of 9 and a leaf of 4. Here's a stem of 9 and a leaf of 0. And we're looking through no other stems of 9. And 90 was my in the 90s was my smallest number. So I can actually say that I know that 9 is my smallest stem. And we have a leaf of 0, a leaf of 2, and a leaf of 4. Try to leave some space so it doesn't look like 24. All right, let's look for the 14s. We have 14, leaf of 0. 14, another leaf of 0. 14 and a leaf of 1. So 14 has 0, 0, 1. Here's my stem of 11. So I have 11, 8. Any other 11s? Here's an 11, 4. Here's an 11, 0. Here's an 11, 7. All right, so I have 4 leaves there. Moving down, okay, 26. Now we're going to put them in order in our final chart. So they don't really have to be in numerical order over here. I'm just going in the order I find them on the chart. Although you could go in order if you wanted. You could look for all the 11s and then all the 12s and then all the 13s. So here I have 26, 6. The little tick to say I saw it. Looking for other stems of 26, and I only see that one. 26, 6. Here's a stem of 15. So I have 15, 3. And here I have a 15, 6. Looking at my other. So I only seem to have 2 leaves for 15. 3 and 6. Okay, here's a stem of 32. A leaf of 8. Any other 32s? Nope. Here's a stem of 18. Leaf of 4. So any other 18s? I only have to look in the second column. No other 18s. Stem of 22. I have a 22, 8. Any other 22s? Nope. Here's a 24. So I have my 24, 5. And no other 24. Here I have a 21, 7. And no other 21s. Here I have a 13, 8. Oops, sorry, and no other 13s. Here I have a 29, 9. And no other 29s. And here I have a 30, 0. So these are going to be all of the rows in my stem and leaf chart. It's just I want them to be in increasing order. So I have the 9s. So my next number is an 11. 11 has 0, 4, 7, and 8 as its leaves. And I don't see any 12s, but I do see a 13. So that's a 13, 7. Sorry. 13, 8. Okay. Here's 14, 0, 0, 1 for its leaves. Here's a 15, 3, 6 as its leaves. Here's a 16, 4, 9. I don't see any 17s, but I do have an 18 here, 18, 4. Don't see any 19s. How about a 20? No 20, but here's a 21, 7. And a 22, 8. No 23s. 24, 5. 26, 6. No 27s. No 28s. 29, 9. 30, 0. 31. No 31s. Here's a 32, 8. So this is my stem and leaf chart. Another way to represent the data. And some questions about this. How useful do you think the stem and leaf plot chart are in this case? Well, it depends on what you're looking for. The point, though, is that for data that is spread out between 90,000 and 328,000, this is kind of a good way to maybe model the data that is spread out. And based on everything you've seen in this lesson, how do you assess the claim that the American newspaper industry is dying? Well, your answers may vary here. You might say because the ad revenue went down significantly, maybe people aren't buying papers. We didn't really track any one newspaper over a long period of time. So, it's hard to say. Whatever results you want to draw from the data are fine. It's just to get you to think about it. And of these three methods used to represent data, frequency, we'll call it 4. Frequency distribution, grouped frequency distribution, histogram, and stem and leaf plot, which is the easiest to interpret. Again, this is an opinion question. I kind of like the histogram because I like the graphical models, but that's purely based on what kind of data you're looking at and what you're modeling.